You appeared in the TV show Sliders. How would you compare the workload of an episodic TV show versus a film or theatre?
I think all actors work long hours. I mean, we are accustomed to 12-hour days. We're generally accustomed to 75-day weeks, more than that, generally 6-day weeks. So we're accustomed to pretty long workloads. Episodic television in America is dreadful in the sense that you always do more than 12 hours a day because you're going to be shooting nights later on in the week. So what you start off doing, you're going to have a 5-day week, okay? No problem. So we'll start off at 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, 6, but we don't quite go to 6 on Monday. We actually go a little bit later. We go to 7 on Monday. So we'll start off at 7, got to have the 12-hour turnaround. We start off at 7 the next day, and we work till sort of 7:30, 8. So we start off at 8 the following day, and you're slowly creeping around until by the time you get to Friday, which is the last day of the week, you're starting something like 7 o'clock at night and working till 8 o'clock in the morning. So you're lucky enough to have the whole of Saturday off and Sunday, and then you start 6 o'clock Monday morning. And it's a killer. It's just a killer, because obviously that Saturday you've got no, it's just a question of getting back and sleeping, trying to sleep in the daytime. The Sunday you've got time to do a little bit, but then you're really looking at the lines for the next episode, which starts on Monday at 6. I find episodic very hard to do, and unless the quality is there, I'm not sure that I really want to spend my life like that. I mean, you're talking at least 5-6 months of the year like that. You don't have time for your family. You're going to work before your child wakes up. You're coming back after he's gone to sleep. I have a little girl, and it would be nice if she knew her daddy before he dies. So I'm not too sure that episodic. I mean, if it was marvelous, yeah, I'd have to do it. But there isn't that much that is marvelous in American episodic television.
You have several projects in the works, including Prisoners of the Sun and To Have and to Hold. Can you tell us a bit about them?
Yeah, we shot Prisoners of the Sun. What happened to it? A Toronto man, a man living in Toronto now, Roger Christian, directed it. You actually won't find that because they mucked him around so much. I believe he's now become whatever that name is for the anonymous.
Oh, Alan Smithy.
Yeah. I think it's Alan's work now. But what's happened to it? I don't know. Try another one.
To Have and to Hold?
Yeah, that one's come out. Yes, that's set in the Jamestown colony in 1614, 1613, something like that. Interesting. I haven't seen the completed picture. It's from a romantic novel. The bits that I saw looked very good, but I imagine it's going to be quite good. I know bits and pieces. Anyway, I'm doing a couple of films next month that I've got some hopes for. There was a charming little piece about a little boy who plays football, and basically is prevented from playing football by a rather mean coach who's he's not a coach, he's one of the local guys who makes sure that that his son gets a good position in the team. It's called Golden Boots, and I'm the grumpy neighbor who is a miserable son of a bitch who turns out, surprise, surprise, to actually know a little bit about football and helps the boy and sort of rescues him when he's essentially kidnapped. charming piece. Family piece. I like family. Yeah, here I am, an old man with a young daughter. You see, now I'm looking for family films, things that I can show her without blushing too much. And there are two or three wonderful little pieces that I've been offered lately. There is another pre-revolutionary, American revolutionary picture about. It's going to be called Behind the Mask, and it's about a villain who becomes a hero essentially. But the real villain of the piece is me, a corrupt Englishman out to destroy George Washington and the American Revolution in the interests of the British India Company. Good yarn, plenty of swash and buckle, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. There's this marvelous little piece in which I will be playing a deaf mute. He's an artist, and he's the heroine's friend, and it's a cameo part, but what a challenge to actually have to communicate without speech and without sound in a way. I'm looking forward to that. It's an interesting challenge. Then my friend Bill MacDonald, who was one of the originators and leading lights of Rome, which I thought was a brilliant series, is doing a mini-series on Chenault and the Flying Tigers. And I'm groveling for a part there in that, and hoping that I think Harrison may be playing Chenault, which would be fabulous, and he's right for it. And I'm just hoping that I can sneak a part in there because the Tigers are one of the most astonishing. It's the last great untold story of World War II. These guys had a better record than any other fighting force, aviation fighting force in the whole of World War II. They're astonishing. And they're still remembered in China. It's very important that we find common ground with disparate countries and disparate cultures. There's a sort of pirate thing. Actually, there are two pirate things. I've just been told that they want somebody younger for one of them. So we're not going to talk about that one. So there's another pirate picture a series that I'm hoping. I've got some hopes for as well. And there are a few other bits and bobs. I'm hoping to do I did a marvelous documentary on the King James Bible, and I went to my dear friend Norman Stone, who was a brilliant director and producer, and said, Norman, we have done a great disservice to William Tyndall. And he said, I know. So he's gone out and he's trying to find the money to make to tell the story of William Tyndall as well, as part of this drama documentary type thing. Tyndall he's a great man. He's an extraordinary translator of the Bible. He's smuggling Bibles. He's in and out of prison. He's living with Martin Luther and Luther's ex-nun wife, as a sort of guest while he's translating the New Testament. When he is finally caught and condemned to burn to death, even people like Thomas More, who was, mainline sort of, Orthodox Catholic, was basically trying to save his life and get him to avoid the stake. I mean, there's an innocence and a purity about Tyndall. You know, that even people who were ideologically absolutely opposed to him respected. And you know, he's one of the great formative forces on the King James Bible. The King James Bible is basically an edited version of Tyndall. And therefore he's really central in the development of the English language. And partly he's part of the way that Shakespeare develops his own language. He's hugely important, and we completely neglect him, because nobody's interested in theology, of course. But there might even be a big picture. You don't know.
Who knows, huh? Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with the Action Elite, and all the very best with all of your endeavours.
Well, thank you for putting up with me, and my apologies for my long, rambling, incoherent diatribe.
Come.